there's an online magazine called Hacked Off, which it says is a campaign for free plus accountable press. So they want a free press and they want an accountable press. Well, to me, the free press means that you have individuals or even a news group that is smaller than, like, some city in the Midwest that can actually distribute the news based on, some good old-fashioned detective work. But instead, there's multinational companies like, of course, News Corp, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, which has changed the entire political landscape of the Western civilized world. So that's just something to consider. And then there's often been said that here in the United States that there are some 6 big corporations that own so much of the media in this country. And for those of you that don't know about, say, your broadcast news, in the early days of American television, a country that pretty much pioneered the network television system, it was considered to be a public service to distribute the news over the airways. And thus they had a responsibility to, report the news fairly. That was the way it was supposed to be. And of course, over time, especially in the last 30 or 40 years, news has become big business. And it was during the time of Bill Clinton's presidency where they took a lot of the regulations away from the news groups, where there was a time in the United States where you couldn't own more than one newspaper or television station or radio station in a particular marketplace. So let's say if you own the above mentioned in Cincinnati, then you couldn't buy another television station and operate it in the same town. Same goes for just about any other place in America, of course. That was supposed to be against the regulations, the FCC, the Federal Communications, whatever. So what happened is they took away that safety net, and the public has not been able to get good news since. I mean, Bill Clinton has been out of office for, 2.5 decades, 3 decades, and still we are suffering from this horrible backlash of deregulation. Now, of course, the internet would have actually changed a lot of things anyway, but if you ask me, big corporations have somehow managed to hijack the internet, and so it's hard to get good information because, with the bots and all that kind of stuff, the truth is being drowned out. The truth somehow is being eroded away, and we are being infused with all of this misinformation, which is how Hillary Clinton's campaign for the presidency was destroyed, was because of data. So anyway, Hacked Off, I like it already because it says, a new article every hour, the astonishing onslaught of press coverage about Harry and Meghan. Hacked Off, Internet Emma Ireland writes about her research on coverage of Meghan and Harry, which found over 25 articles about the couple were published across newspapers every day. Over 450 were published over the 18-day period of Emma's review. Often articles were groundless, based upon entirely on speculation, or made bizarre, unevidenced allegations. So anyway, I'll just read a small part of this. I'll try to leave a link for this article. I read 18 days of press coverage of Harry and Meghan from the 15th of February until the 4th of March. Over the course of those weeks, I looked at the Times, the Telegraph, the Daily Mail, and the Sun, recording every article those newspapers had published about the couple. This is what I found. It soon became clear to me that some papers have taken every opportunity they have to attack them. A lot of judgment made toward them is based off of sensationalism caused by these shocking headlines. I saw one article that went as far as to connect her with terrorism for wearing earrings, and one that was purely about bunions on Harry's feet. Slow news day, maybe. Ridiculous, absolutely. The Times, best of the bad bunch. The Times was the best of the bad bunch. It wasn't completely full of nonsense, but it did have its moments. Most of the articles were fairly unbiased. The Times didn't write a lot about them, so it was hard to come to a solid conclusion. But overall, I would say that the balance of coverage was neither good nor bad. The odd article was unduly negative, but most were unbiased. The Telegraph wasn't too bad. I didn't find it particularly impressive either. Similarly, the Times, there wasn't the onslaught of articles every day written about every single detail, which was something positive. The Daily Mail was arguably the worst. I would love to pick apart the coverage and try to find something positive or which was in the public interest, but it was just so overwhelmingly negative. They had the most amount of daily articles written about the couple out of any newspaper I researched. Every time I'd go to the website looking for something about them, I didn't have to look far. The writers there were plucking every single detail they could from every single thing that they did to try to find a full article about them, or to try to write a full article about them. And the worst part is that they'd spin it into a negative any chance they got. They criticized them for not being here for Philip. It's obvious that if they were, they would have been called out for breaking the lockdown and traveling to another country. And the Sun, a creepy live blog. I wish I could end this on a more positive note, but that would just not be possible with the Sun. Everything that I said about the Daily Mail, I could have also said about the Sun. The Sun also has a live blog on Meghan Markle that updates roughly every hour on everything she has done. It's stalker-like and weird and made me feel uneasy. Overall, it's clear that there needs to be regulation in the media. The mass amount of articles I found bullying Meghan was ridiculous, and something must be done. Media needs to be regulated to stop something like this from happening. Only last year, we saw a love movement after Caroline Flack was bullied. How far does it have to go before we see others face the relentless impact of press abuse?